Hey. So
Hi.
hi everyone. I want to welcome you and thank you so much for joining me on the Connection Couch with Katie Cianci. She is a founder of A Love Seed, a psychotherapist, and I Rest Yoga Nidra teacher.
Yeah.
Woo! Welcome. So
Thank you.
today we're going to be talking about meditation and mindfulness. So
Thank you,
tell me a
Natalie.
little bit about you, Katie.
Okay, well, thank you for the introduction. Yeah, so I'm really happy to be part of this group. The challenge, I'm part of it too. So, yeah, so I work right now and work full time as a psychotherapist, and I help people with treatment for addiction and trauma. I am transitioning into shortly, very soon, and my practice is open now to offering a virtual private practice. So anyone who lives in the state of California, and then I'll also be launching the start of a transformation coach business, transformational coaching business. So did I hear like a little? Was that
Yeah,
a cat?
that's a fur baby that's
Oh, that's your fur baby. Okay,
needing attention, wanting
it was
attention.
Nora, your daughter.
No,
Um,
not yet.
yeah, so I'm going to be starting that. I'm starting it now. I'm in the process of it. So today I started. I've been interviewing for an online series called Courage to Rise, and so today I interviewed several experts, and I'm so excited that it's going to be launched on January 20th. So I'm really excited to share that. It's a free online series and summit. So if anyone's interested, I'll send the link once I, have that available.
I'm excited to see it.
Yes, yes. And one of the people I interviewed, actually made incredible speakers. One of them is Daniel Gutierrez, and he's a master transformational coach. He's just master mindfulness. And so he teaches mindfulness. And so he has a book called Radical Mindfulness. I am absolutely buying it after my interview with him. It's incredible. So he talks about mindfulness in 60 seconds or less.
Ooh.
And so, yes, and I loved talking with him because he shared how mindfulness is a way of life. And that's what I believe. I mean, my experience has been, I started mindfulness practice, oh wow, like probably 10 years ago I started. And I've had daily practice where initially I started where I sat in lotus position and, I did the mudras and I was doing all of that and breathing and going through the whole thing. I get up early in the morning and went to retreats for like 2.5 hours and 2.5 hour retreats. And I just went all in. And what I've noticed is that you don't have to do that. You don't have to do all of that. Mindfulness happens in real life,
Mhm.
especially when you're really struggling or having some kind of challenge or frustration or, we talked about today, like,
Yes.
I was around Christmas time, I was on the phone with T-Mobile for like hours and I was like, okay, just keep doing my deep breaths, take some deep
Oh
breaths.
yeah. That was me today with Brent.
Yeah, we're Sprint or wherever, like when you're in the grocery store and, there's a long line, you're in a hurry, taking some deep breaths. Because the reality is we only have control over so much. And that's what gets us stressed out is that we're wanting to make something faster or do something different or someone act a certain way. And the reality is we only have control over our own reaction and
Mm.
our own body and most of the time. Sometimes we don't have like, wow, how might my body do that? But like we only have control over our own reaction and not what's happening around us. And so mindfulness is being in the present moment. So being present,
Mhm.
aware of what's happening in your body, what's around you, a thing that you're focusing on
Mhm.
in the present moment with no judgment. So that's the key, is no judgment, because judgment is something that we all do. We all judge. I mean, I don't care who you are. You could be the Dalai Lama and you judge. It's like we all judge. It's just having an awareness of the judging that happens.
Mm.
So we also do a lot of self-judgment. So we'll judge ourselves and say, okay, Katie, oh, you should have done it this way, or you shouldn't have done that, or why aren't you doing what you said you were going to do? Or, why did you work out that way? You could have worked out this other way. Whatever it is that is going on in your mind. What do you think are some, I know you've been asking some of the people here, what were some of the challenges that people were having that they want to work on that you noticed?
Well, it seems like time is like a big factor for a lot of people, having the time to, focus on their fitness, family, having the time with their family. So just time is what's really come up. I do notice financial being some of it as well, just not having the financial abundance that they would like. And also really taking time for themselves. It really comes down to time is what the biggest factor, biggest challenge that I think a lot of people are facing.
That's great, because that's true, right? I used to say a lot of that. Oh, I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to do this, or, my self-care. I've got all these other people to take care of. It's a constant commitment. Really, it's a commitment. It's a struggle. It's a commitment to your own self-care.
Word for this year?
Commitment. Oh yes, the word for the year is commitment. Yeah, it's a commitment. So we all have 24 hours in a day, and we all get to choose how we're going to spend those hours. And so I think what comes up a lot of the time is that we, if you're a caregiver or you're a healer, I can speak for myself. Others watching, you may feel the same way, who's ever watching, that when you're a healer, you're used to giving to other people. You're generous, you are a supporter, you like to support other people, and so you give. What happens is that our bank account or bucket gets emptied. And so then we don't have any more to give. And then we have this expectation. Expectations can really create a lot of tension and resentment, because we have an expectation that other people are going to give back in the same way or the same amount. And so what happens is we're giving, but we're not receiving our bucket being filled. And so then it causes resentment. You start to feel like, well, I'm doing all this and nobody's doing anything, so you start to get angry and upset and frustrated and overwhelmed. And so the way to help with that is to just really structure your day, being mindful of how you're spending your time, and structure your day so that you set aside time for yourself. That's important. And that means even scheduling it like you would an appointment, to schedule a workout or to go, walk outside. Nature is one of the most incredible, most healing thing you can do, is get out in nature. Even in the cold, just, smell the fresh air. If you're in a place on the East Coast or where there's snow, just smell like the freshness of the air, activate all your five senses, mindfulness. And then you really appreciate what's around you, because you're in the present moment. Yes. And you're not worried about, well, I should be doing this, I should be doing that, and feeling guilty because you've scheduled it for yourself. And then if you have a partner or you have children, you can say, hey, mommy's going to the gym at 5:00, or going to a yoga class, or going for a walk on my own. I'll be back at this time, or you schedule it. And what's amazing is when you take time for yourself and you really fill that bucket, what happens is that the other people around you notice that. You say, oh, and you're creating a pattern. You're creating an example for your child or your children or the people around you, that self-care and self-love is a value that's important. And so you're teaching your children that. When you don't take care of yourself and you're giving to everybody else and you're exhausted, and you're if your mom, or I think it's just women, mother or father, whoever's joining, mostly moms, I think. What happens is that you teach them that it's okay to not take care of yourself. That's what you're teaching them. And so some people feel guilty, like I shouldn't take time away from my child. It's like, actually, it is good for you to do that, because you're teaching them that self-care is important, and that is critical. So yeah, there's that. And then the other part is finances. Because sometimes people say, finances is a problem. That's another part of self-love. It's also setting boundaries for what are you investing your money in? What are you investing your money, and what are you investing your time in? They're very, very similar, right? If you do one thing, you do everything. How you do one thing, you do everything in your life. So if you don't invest in your own self-care and your own self-love, you probably don't invest in yourself as well. And so your finances are probably going to other things that are not supporting you. So you probably are strained in both areas. If you're strained in self-care, you're probably strained in your finances. They go together, right? So we get to be mindful of that and shift. So if you notice that you're struggling in both areas, start with self-love, because it's the easiest thing. Well, for some people, it's not very easy. So know that if it's not easy for you, it's probably something that it will be a practice. And you get to ask for support here in our group to support you in the self-care if it's hard for you, because I ask for support. You and I are like accountability partners. So, it's great to say, hey, I really want to do this and I'm not doing it. So how can we support each other so that you make it a priority?
What is, may I ask, what is something that you do for self-care?
What do I do? Well, I do a lot of different things, and I do it throughout the day. So today I scheduled some time before my interviews just to kind of reflect, and I was preparing. So I did, just some breathing exercises, some mindfulness. I really try to do it in the morning. I have this ritual, and I do in the morning, right before I get out of bed. I wake up, I lay there, I do a body scan. So from my feet all the way to the top of my head, I feel my body, feel it in my bed, like actually feel myself lying in the bed, the sheets, the covers. Like I really take in all of my senses, and I just get myself centered and grounded and present before I get out of bed. It was never used to be like that. It used to be, oh, the alarm comes up, okay, I jump out of bed and I go. And my day would just be like so chaotic. And so I started that practice, and I love it. I do different things every once in a while, but this one I love it. It's a ritual. I do it every morning.
Like getting yourself centered, just before you start your day.
Yeah, getting centered. Yeah, and that's important. And so mindfulness is it's in the moment. You're in the moment, being present, connected to what's around you or what's happening in your body. And there's all kinds of different practices that you can use, but it's being present for who you're with. So a lot of times people are trying to multitask and do things. Well, I used to do that all the time, and I still get into patterns where I try to multitask. But you're not really very effective. I don't know.
Yes,
there might be some great people who do that. But really, like, focus on one thing at a time and then move to the next. And like when you're with your children, like really be with your children. I realized, like, when my son was like 4, when I started mindfulness, I started before he was born, but when I really got into it, I was 4. I was like going for like, studying it. I was taking classes. I was to be an instructor. I realized that I would be with my son and I'd be thinking about everything else, something else, who I should be talking to, what I should be doing, negative thoughts. My mind was racing, and I wasn't even present with him. I wasn't even with him. And so then I thought, wow, like, and then when I started to shift and pay attention and actually be with him, and when the thoughts would come in, I would say, okay, no thoughts. It's nice. I noticed you, but go away. And I focus on him and what we're doing, and our connection. Was amazing is that I enjoyed it more. It was like so enjoyable, and he enjoyed it. And it's so loving and connected and intimate to have, to be present.
Yes.
In the moment.
And yeah, I mean, I could speak on that too, just because I noticed that when, there was a long time that I was really disconnected, I would say, with Nora, just running my rackets in my head, escaping whatever I was going. As I've said, alcohol became like a big thing for me to kind of, cope with whatever was going on. So I was very disconnected. But now that I've made the commitment to be connected, it really has shifted things in my relationship with her, with Nora. So I can see that she's experiencing so much more joy because I'm present with her. Where before there was a lot of resistance that was happening. And so it's just being mindful and being present in the moment. And it's amazing how things can truly shift in your relationships, even with just myself too. So, but yeah, so I can definitely relate on that.
And so you're practicing mindfulness when you're doing that because you have an awareness.
Yes.
You're aware of what's happening in the moment. And you're noticing the joy, the smile, the laughter, you're noticing that. And you're present for it and you can enjoy it. And life is so much more enjoyable when you're present in the moment.
Absolutely.
Because you're also shifted to gratitude often. Because when we're in negative thinking, we're usually in the past or in the we're regretting the past or worrying about the future. When we're in the present moment is when we're actually creating our life. That is all we have really, is the present moment. So if we can be in the present moment fully and embracing it as it is in that moment, then life becomes more fulfilling and it becomes something that we get to enjoy rather than, not want or want to escape from. We get to actually enjoy life. Even in moments when are difficult, because you're like, okay, I'm experiencing this in the moment. Once you start worrying about the what ifs of the future, that's when you get out of that being present and mindfulness. And that's when anxiety starts to kick in, is when you start worrying about the what ifs, which aren't even happening and may not happen.
Yeah.
So when you notice that happening, say, oh, that's my what if person mind. Come back to the present. What am I doing now? What do I have that I can work on right now? What can I focus on right now? And then taking some deep breaths in and exhaling out. And if your mind or racket or whatever you want to call it is going and you can't get out of it, because that does happen, where your mind is just spinning and you can't stop thinking about the past or the future, then I love it using essential oils, but whatever you can, the smell, like the sense of smell, can activate a part of your brain that helps to calm your nervous system. That's one tool that you can use. It's the quickest, most powerful thing you can do to switch that off, because you're switching from here to your smell.
Wow.
You're shifting your awareness. That's why essential oils are so effective. When the scent, right? Smelling in the scent. Or smelling a rose, or, I'll go for a walk and I'll take a little rose petal off and I'll smell the rose.
Another thing that I've kind of found to be helpful in those moments is just even like touch, feel like whatever's around you. So if there's like, you're like, for me right now, I'm sitting on the couch and I can just feel like the textures and it just kind of draws you, if you allow it, it will recenter you almost. It's like, it's like you're shifting out of what was trying to come in and take over. And so,
my son is here. Here. So I'm being present. Huh?
Hi, Brandon.
You want to come in and say hi? Yes, you can have a breadstick. See, I noticed that. And hi. So yeah. But I want to be present for you. And I noticed him. I'm like, I'm not going to pretend. I'm just going to say.
No, but that's life. That's life.
Right. Yeah.
So have that to be present in this, but also, you can acknowledge him as well. So you're, yes.
But you're right. Like you're touching something, right?
Yeah.
And that gives you comfort, whatever it is that like helps you be present and provide comfort. those are things that are, yeah. So all your five senses, activating all your five senses is one of the grounding techniques that people use, especially when they're feeling like they're going to have a panic attack. So, I mean, I could go on and on about this, about ways that you can, you know, manage your anxiety or your mood or, you know, but really it's practicing mindfulness is practicing being present and your breath and breathing, because we all hold, like all of us, like usually are holding our breath. Majority of us hold our breath all day long and we don't even realize it. So it's like taking each breath in and then exhaling out. So if you're feeling like really agitated and anxious and like overwhelmed, just take a moment and just take 3 deep breaths in, like really deep breaths in. Just and exhaling all the way out. Inhaling. And then exhaling out. And you'll notice it shifts. Your energy can shift. Do you notice?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Katie. I really appreciate all that you shared. And so, yeah, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for watching. If you have any questions, please comment below. We're all here to support each other, so I'm here to support you however I can. Katie is also in the challenge, so she's here to support you with whatever questions you may have. And again, thank you so much, Katie. And I'm excited about your series. I'm excited to see all that you've been up to and working on. And yeah, thank you again.
Thank you. I'll see you guys in the chat.
Bye, challengers.
Challengers. Thank you.